Kel'Thuzad vs Mal'Ganis. Who is the true master of the undead? Hey, what's up, fellow lore junkies? Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the dark and twisted corners of Azeroth's history. Today, we're tackling a question that's been sparking debates in the depths of Undercity's shadows and the peaks of Icecrown Citadel. Who truly deserves the title of the ultimate master of the undead? Is it the enigmatic Lich Kel'Thuzad, or the cunning dreadlord Mal'Ganis? Grab your potions, summon your ghouls, and let's get right into it. The rise of Kel'Thuzad. So, let's kick things off with Kel'Thuzad. Before he was the skeletal archlich we've come to know and fear, Kel'Thuzad was actually one of the most respected archmages of the Kirin Tor in Dalaran. Born over 70 years before the First War, he was a prodigy, mastering spells that took others decades to learn. But, as with many tales of greatness, pride became his downfall. Kel'Thuzad developed an insatiable curiosity for forbidden magic, particularly necromancy. The Kirin Tor, being all about the responsible use of magic, weren't exactly thrilled. Despite multiple warnings and even a direct order from the Council of Six to cease his studies, Kel'Thuzad persisted. Eventually, he was stripped of his rank and banished. Imagine being kicked out of the most prestigious magical society. That's gotta bruise the ego. Alliance with the Lich King. Now exiled and disillusioned, Kel'Thuzad was like a moth to the flame when he heard the psychic whispers of the Lich King calling from Northrend. He gave up his fortune, a massive sum equivalent to tens of thousands of gold coins, and made the long journey north. Upon meeting the Lich King, Kel'Thuzad didn't hesitate to pledge his loyalty. In return, he was promised immortality and immense power. He became the first of the Lich King's human agents, entrusted with setting the stage for the Scourge's invasion. It's wild to think that one of Dalaran's finest became the architect of its downfall. Founding the Cult of the Damned. Back in Lordaeron, Kel'Thuzad founded the Cult of the Damned. Using his charisma and deep understanding of societal discontent, he recruited followers by promising them equality and eternal life in a new order. The cult infiltrated every level of society, from the lowliest farmers to influential nobles. At its peak, the cult had thousands of members. They played a crucial role in distributing plagued grain across Lordaeron, leading to the mass zombification of its populace. Kel'Thuzad had effectively weaponized the very people the kingdom sought to protect. The rise of Mal'Ganis. Switching gears to Mal'Ganis, our resident dreadlord extraordinaire. Hailing from the dread-infested world of Nethreza, Mal'Ganis is a member of the Nathrezim, a race as old as the cosmos itself, possibly dating back over 25,000 years. These guys are the Burning Legion's masters of deception, specializing in psychological warfare and corruption. Mal'Ganis wasn't just any foot soldier, he was a high-ranking officer within the Legion, known for his cunning and effectiveness in bringing entire civilizations to ruin. If the Legion had a Employee of the Millennium award, he'd be a top contender. Manipulating the mortal realm. Mal'Ganis's mission on Azeroth was pretty straightforward. Weaken the mortal races to prepare for the Legion's invasion. But his methods? Far from simple. He used disguises, illusions, and subtle manipulations to influence key figures and events. Unlike Kel'Thuzad's more overt cult building, Mal'Ganis preferred to operate from the shadows, ensuring his manipulations went unnoticed until it was too late. He exploited fears, desires, and ambitions, turning allies against each other and sowing seeds of chaos wherever he went. It's like he had a PhD in advanced psychological sabotage. Corrupting Prince Arthas Menethil. One of Mal'Ganis's most significant achievements was orchestrating the downfall of Prince Arthas Menethil. By spreading the plague in Lordaeron, he pushed Arthas to make increasingly desperate decisions, culminating in the infamous culling of Stratholme. Mal'Ganis taunted Arthas, leading him on a wild chase to Northrend. There, he dangled the carrot of revenge just out of reach, while subtly nudging Arthas towards the cursed blade Frostmourne. When Arthas finally claimed the sword, he unknowingly sealed his fate, sacrificing his soul and becoming the Lich King's greatest champion. Mal'Ganis's manipulation here is a masterclass in villainy. Powers and abilities. Kel'Thuzad's necromancy. Alright, let's talk about what these guys bring to the dark magic table. Kel'Thuzad is the epitome of necromantic power. His mastery over the undead is unparalleled among mortals, or former mortals. He can raise armies of the dead with a mere gesture and command powerful entities like frost worms and abominations. His base of operations, Naxxramas, is a massive necropolis floating above the land, acting as both fortress and weapon. Inside, he conducted horrific experiments, creating monstrosities like Thaddeus, a giant amalgamation of stitched-together corpses powered by electricity. Kel'Thuzad's spell repertoire is vast, including devastating frost spells, shadow bolts, and curses that can decimate entire battalions. Plus, as a lich, his phylactery makes him notoriously hard to kill permanently. Mal'Ganas's Dreadlord might. Mal'Ganas, on the other hand, specializes in manipulation and subterfuge but isn't lacking in raw power. Dreadlords possess abilities like mind control, allowing them to dominate the wills of others, even multiple targets at once. They can induce sleep, create illusions, and even become incorporeal to avoid damage. One of Mal'Ganas's key strengths is his immortality. As a demon, when he's defeated on the physical plane, he's banished back to the Twisting Nether, the Burning Legion's home dimension. Unless he's killed there, he can eventually regenerate and return. This effectively makes him an eternal thorn in the side of the living. Let's not forget his physical prowess. Dreadlords are formidable in close combat, wielding vampiric claws and destructive shadow magic. Influence and control. Kel'Thuzad's command over the Scourge. Kel'Thuzad's influence is as direct as it gets. As the Lich King's lieutenant, he commands legions of undead minions, from mindless ghouls to powerful liches and death knights. He's been directly responsible for major attacks on human kingdoms, including the fall of Lordaeron and the assault on Hearth Glen. His strategic mind has orchestrated complex operations, like the invasion of Quel'Thalas to corrupt the Sunwell, a feat that led to his own resurrection as a lich. Kel'Thuzad doesn't just command the Scourge, he embodies its cold, relentless nature. Mal'Ganas's manipulation and schemes. Mal'Ganas prefers the puppet master role. Instead of leading armies, he corrupts leaders to do the dirty work for him. By manipulating Arthas, he effectively weaponized one of Azeroth's greatest heroes against his own people. Mal'Ganas has sown chaos on a macro scale without needing to directly control vast forces. Even after his initial defeat, he continued to influence events, such as manipulating the Scarlet Onslaught in Northrend under the guise of Baryon Westwind. His ability to adapt and infiltrate makes him a persistent and unpredictable threat. Key battles and events. Kel'Thuzad's major engagements. Kel'Thuzad's resume of destruction is impressive. He played a pivotal role in the Third War, facilitating the downfall of multiple kingdoms. After his transformation into a lich, he used the Sunwell, a font of immense magical power, to summon Archimonde the Defiler into Azeroth, leading to the catastrophic Battle of Mount Hyjal. In World of Warcraft, Kel'Thuzad serves as the final boss of Naxxramas in both its original 40-player raid and the updated version in Wrath of the Lich King. Each encounter required coordinated efforts from players, cementing his status as a top-tier antagonist. His repeated resurrections and the mystery surrounding his phylactery keep him relevant and continually threatening. Mal'Ganas's critical moments. Mal'Ganas's manipulation of Arthas is his crowning achievement, but he's had other significant impacts. After being defeated by Arthas, he retreated to the Twisting Nether and later resurfaced in Northrend. In Wrath of the Lich King, he orchestrated events within the Scarlet Onslaught, pushing them towards fanaticism and causing internal strife within the already fractured organization. His actions distracted the forces of the Alliance and Horde, complicating their efforts against the Lich King. Mal'Ganas's talent for causing maximum disruption with minimal direct action is both impressive and terrifying. Legacy in Warcraft lore. Kel'Thuzad's enduring presence. Kel'Thuzad remains one of the most iconic villains in Warcraft lore. His influence is felt in multiple expansions, and his actions have had long-lasting repercussions. The mystery surrounding his phylactery, rumored to still be in existence, leaves the door open for his return. His character also delves into themes of obsession, the pursuit of forbidden knowledge, and the consequences of hubris. For those who enjoy the darker aspects of Warcraft storytelling, Kel'Thuzad is a fascinating study. Mal'Ganas's ongoing threat. Mal'Ganas represents the enduring threat of the Burning Legion's machinations. Even when the Legion isn't the primary antagonist, agents like Mal'Ganas remind us that their influence lingers. His ability to survive, adapt, and continue manipulating events ensures that he'll remain a relevant figure. The Dreadlord's penchant for deception means we may not always recognize his involvement until it's too late. Comparative analysis. Leadership styles. Kel'Thuzad is like the general on the battlefield, directing his forces with precision and overseeing grand strategies. His approach is systematic and methodical, relying on overt power and direct confrontation. Mal'Ganas is the ultimate covert operative. He excels in psychological manipulation, letting others unwittingly further his goals. His indirect methods create ripple effects that can alter the course of history. It's the classic contrast between brute force and cunning intellect. Loyalty and allegiances. Kel'Thuzad's loyalty to the Lich King is absolute. His service is driven by a combination of reverence and a shared vision of a world dominated by the Scourge. Mal'Ganas, while serving the Burning Legion, operates with a level of autonomy and personal ambition. Dreadlords are notorious for their self-serving nature, and Mal'Ganas is no exception. His actions often blur the line between serving the Legion and furthering his own agenda. Impact on Azeroth. Both have caused immeasurable devastation. Kel'Thuzad's direct actions led to the destruction of entire kingdoms and the deaths of countless lives. Mal'Ganas's influence set in motion events that unleashed the Lich King upon the world. Without his manipulation of Arthas, the Scourge might not have reached the heights of power that it did. In terms of sheer numbers, Kel'Thuzad might edge out in body count, but Mal'Ganas's indirect actions have had profound and far-reaching consequences. Hypothetical showdown. Scenario setup. Alright, let's imagine these two powerhouses decide to settle their differences in a no-holds-barred duel. No armies, no backup, just their wits and powers. Strengths and weaknesses. Kel'Thuzad brings an array of devastating spells, mastery over frost and shadow magic, and the resilience afforded by his phylactery. However, his reliance on it could be a vulnerability if Mal'Ganas discovers and destroys it. Mal'Ganas's strengths lie in his mind control, illusions, and immortality via the twisting nether. Yet, being banished to the nether removes him from the physical plane temporarily, which could be exploited by Kel'Thuzad. Both have immense knowledge and centuries of experience to draw upon. Possible outcomes. In a straight-up magical slugfest, Kel'Thuzad's raw power might give him an initial advantage. However, Mal'Ganas could use deception, perhaps creating illusions or manipulating Kel'Thuzad's perceptions. If Mal'Ganas can bait Kel'Thuzad into exposing his phylactery or exploit his arrogance, he might secure victory. Conversely, if Kel'Thuzad can find a way to banish Mal'Ganas permanently, or at least for an extended period, he could claim the upper hand. Ultimately, it might come down to who makes the first critical mistake. With both being master strategists, it's a toss-up. Summing up the contestants. So, we've delved into the dark histories, powers, and influences of Kel'Thuzad and Mal'Ganas. Both are titans in the realm of undead mastery, each leaving indelible marks on Azeroth's history. Kel'Thuzad, with his direct command and unparalleled necromantic prowess, has reshaped the landscape of the living and the dead. Mal'Ganas, through cunning and manipulation, has altered the fates of heroes and kingdoms alike. Final thoughts. Deciding who the true master of the undead is might be more subjective than we'd like. Kel'Thuzad embodies the traditional role, commanding undead legions and wielding necromancy like no other. Mal'Ganas, while not a necromancer per se, has orchestrated events leading to the most significant undead uprising in history. Perhaps the real takeaway is that both, in their own ways, have earned the title. Their methods differ, but their impacts are undeniably profound. But hey, that's just one lore nerd's perspective. I'd love to hear what you think. Who do you believe is the true master of the undead? Drop your thoughts, theories, and any epic raid stories in the comments below. Let's get a lively, or undeadly, discussion going. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the dark corners of Warcraft lore, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll unravel the mysteries of the Shadowlands and explore the fate of souls consumed by the Maw. Trust me, it's a journey you won't want to miss. Thanks for hanging out and nerding out with me today. Until next time, keep your runeblades sharp and your spellbooks close. Stay awesome, and may the loot drops be ever in your favor.